How would you feel if your cost of living suddenly went up $200 a month? I bet you wouldn't be too psyched about that, would you? Well, that's what a lot of us feared would happen this year when we got our new property tax assessments in the mail in January. So just how bad was it? Well, stick around. We're going to discuss the true implications of the new property tax assessment and other taxes that might impact your cost of living here in Wake County. Here we go. Hi everybody, I'm Heather Taylor, founder of Tailored Realty Group, where we create real estate experiences tailored to who? That's right, tailored to you. We'll spend most of our time today taking a deep dive into real estate taxes by breaking down the 3 steps Wake County uses to calculate your taxes. Then I'm going to help you navigate the Wake County website so you know where to find more information about any property you're interested in or even the one you're currently living in. But wait! There's more. Just when you thought you had enough taxes, no, we're also going to touch on income tax, sales tax, and personal property tax, like your taxes on your vehicle. So, whether you're a longtime resident or new to the area, stay tuned as we unpack the ins and outs of Wake County taxes. The 3 steps Wake County takes in order to determine what your taxes will be for any given year is, number 1, they have to know what your assessed value is. That is, what is the value that the county gives to your specific property. Step 2, they have to figure out what their tax rates are going to be, and that's based on their budget. And step 3 is multiplying those 2 numbers together to figure out what your annual taxes will be. Now, when it comes to figuring out the first part, which is what is the value of your home, Wake County reassesses the value of our homes once every 4 years. So this year was a reassessment year. 4 years ago was 2020. So can you guess what happened to the value of homes between 2020 and now? I bet you can. Yeah, that's right. They went up a hell of a lot. Exactly how much? If you're guessing over 50%, you are correct. So when we, as property owners, received our new assessment in the mail in January and it was up over 50%, it caused people to freak out a little bit. And here's why. Generally speaking, and we'll get into more specifics of exact towns and tax rates, but generally speaking, taxes in Wake County area are around 1%. So let's say your house used to be valued at $500,000. And you paid approximately 1% in taxes. So times 1%, you were paying $5,000 a year. You divide that by 12 to figure out what you were paying a month, and it comes out to about $417 a month, right? Well, now your property gets reassessed, and it's gone up 50%. 50%, my friends. So now we're looking at a property value, can you still see down here? Yeah, you can. Of what? $750,000. I know you're doing the math in your head right now. You're multiplying it by 1%. You're getting $7,500. You're dividing that by 12, and you're getting $625 a month. Holy cow! That is a big difference, wouldn't you say? It's so funny because people always want their property value to be wicked high, right? They're looking at Zillow or Redfin or whatever app they're looking at. Yay, my value's going up. But then when you get the tax bill for that new value, you're like, oh, wait a minute, I don't think my house is worth that much, which I always find a little bit comical. I'm guilty of it myself. But anyway, the good news is Wake County has decided to keep taxes revenue neutral. Revenue neutral is a budget term that means exactly what it sounds like. The revenue brought in by property taxes in a reevaluation year will be approximately the same as if the reevaluation had not taken place after an adjustment for annual growth. So if the county has raised your assessed value over 50% and they want to remain revenue neutral, what do they have to do? If you said, I know, Heather, they have to lower the tax rates, ding, 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 you are correct. And how much are they going to lower them? Well, the county has created this handy dandy calculator to show you what your new taxes will look like. So let's take a look at that. And also, before we jump into that, let's take a look at where you can find your tax rate and your tax calculation and kind of go through all of that on the Wake County website so that you know how to do it yourself going forward. Now, I do want to mention one thing before we do that. Municipalities, so your towns, do not necessarily have to adopt a revenue neutral policy. I did speak to Apex specifically, and they won't know until May, and I'm guessing the other towns' budgets don't come out until around then either. I would anticipate across the boards with that much of a assessment jump that most of these towns will be lowering their tax rates. But anyway, let's jump over to the website and take a look at navigating that so that you know where to get the information you need. Okay, so let's take a look at where you are going to find information on how much your property tax is. That is a Wake County thing. So we're going to go to wake.gov and scroll down to this drop down, go to find real estate information. There are other ways, several ways to get to this information. This just happens to be my personal favorite. Hit search real estate records and you will come to this screen. You can see there are several different ways to search for real estate information. You can do it by name, real estate ID, parcel number, but we are going to do address. We're going to use an address I used to live at and hit enter. Now we'll come to this page. This is our real estate ID. That number will be important when we go to the revenue neutral calculator. For now, we'll click on it. We'll see the number is also up here. Keep in mind that is the number we are going to need when we get to the revenue neutral calculator. Now, this is all the information about the current property and the current owners. And here you have the current assessed value. That's $531,905. Keep that in mind as we go look at the old tax bills, because we'll be able to look at the previous assessed value. So in order to see tax bill, go to tax bill, click there. We're going to look at one that I paid in 2022. And you will see right here has the assessed value. So the assessed value for those 4 years, which was 2016 to 2020, was $333,784. Now that it's assessed at $531,905, that's a 59% increase. So imagine if your taxes were going to go up by 59%, that would really suck. So let's take a look at how your tax number is calculated. Right over here under rate, you will see the tax rates. Now, these are rates per $100 of value. So when you're actually calculating your rate times your assessed value, you need to take the assessed value. So in this case, 333,784, you divide it by 100, and then you multiply it by this tax rate times 0.4100, and you get this number, 1,368.51. That is your municipality. So if you live in Apex, this is your tax rate for the town of Apex. Another town, if you lived in Cary, it would say Cary here. And in some cases, you may have an Apex address, but you're not inside the city limits. So you would have no tax rate here, but you may have a different tax, like a special district tax. For example, I have some friends who live in Apex outside of the city limits, and they have a special fire district tax, I believe. And I want to say it's not as much as the city tax, but it's not inexpensive. So you do avoid some taxes, but you may have others that you have to pay. So that's your Apex tax rate. And then your Wake County tax rate is 0.6195. Again, you take this assessed value, you divide it by 100, you multiply it times the tax rate, and you come out with this tax amount. Now you add the two together, plus in Apex, we have this $20 a year recycle fee, and you get your total amount of taxes that are due. Now, let's take a look at the revenue neutral calculator to see the differences in the taxes. Now, the revenue neutral tax calculator is only going to calculate your Wake County taxes. So let's see how much your Wake County taxes change with the new assessment. So we go to Wake County revenue neutral tax calculator. Boom. If you want to know more about the tax rate, click on this link. This really goes through the whole revenue neutral tax rate stuff I've kind of talked to you a little bit about, but in further detail if you're interested. But in order to get to the calculator, scroll to the bottom of the page, click on the revenue neutral calculator. Okay, so you get to this page, you take that real estate ID that I showed you before, you insert it into this space, search by real estate ID, and then it's going to come up with this great little comparison of your current tax implications versus your previous tax implications. Now, this is the new market value, this is the old market value, and when you come down here, you see the difference in the county taxes that you're going to pay. Now, please keep in mind, these are not, as I mentioned, these are not including the municipality taxes. Each town can decide on its own whether it's going to stay revenue neutral. I did speak to Apex. They do anticipate bringing their tax rate down, but they do not have a handy dandy calculator like this. So for the Wake County taxes only, you see the difference here is $2,469 versus $2,192. That comes out to a monthly tax difference of what? $2,469. Oops, $2,469 minus 2,192
is a total of $277 difference. We divide it by 12 months and it's $23 a month. Certainly a lot easier to stomach than a couple $100s a month. And you can see here the actual changes percentage-wise. You did have a 59% change in value, as I mentioned. And then you have your change in your taxes is 12.62%. So you're paying a little bit more, but not almost 60% more. Thank goodness, right?
Okay, hopefully you found all that website navigating helpful. Thank you for sticking with me through all this. I know this stuff is dry, but understanding the real estate tax calculation process in Wake County is, I think, crucial for homeowners and prospective buyers so that they can budget accordingly. Now, you're probably worn out with all this tax talk, so I'll keep the remaining tax sections brief and simple. Generally speaking, the other taxes in Wake County are income tax, sales tax, and vehicle property tax. So let's get into those real quick. Income tax. North Carolina, I can talk, operates on a flat income tax rate system. This means whatever you make, you pay the same amount of taxes. And here's the good news. The tax rates are actually trending downward. So in 2023, the tax rate was 4.75%, but it's set to decrease to 4.5% in 2024, 4.25% in 2025, and then after that, 3.99. So hey, good news when it comes to taxes. When does that ever happen? Now, sales tax. Sales tax is a combination of state and local taxes. The state sales tax rate in North Carolina is 4.75%, and in Wake County, we pay 7.25% sales tax, which is the state rate plus a 2% county rate plus a 0.5% transit tax. And last but not least, here in Wake County, you will pay a vehicle property tax to the NCDOT annually when you renew your car registration. Now, the amount you'd pay depends on the value of your car as determined by the NCDOT, but to give you an idea, I have a 2019 Honda Pilot and my vehicle tax was $302 last year. If you'd like to get an estimate for your property taxes on your car, you can use the online tax estimator at the NCDOT website, which will be provided in the description below this video. That about does it for me today. If you're still with me, congratulations. You made it through a tax talk. Thank you for sticking around. If you are looking to buy, sell, or invest in the Raleigh area, please reach out. You can schedule a free consultation with me on my website. All my information is on the screen. Also, remember, if you're looking to move anywhere in the country, I really can help you out. I have quite a large network of connections throughout the country. So again, reach out using one of those contact methods on the screen. Until next week, bye.